Welcome in to Varsity Vibe. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us. Our show today brought to you by our friends at First Security Bank. And guys, athletics starting right around the corner. Golf already happening around the state. Volleyball is going to get started very shortly. And of course, practices are happening right there at the football fields as everyone gets ready to start the 2026 and 2027 season. And so to get our show started, we're hitting you off with our Lewis Automotive Opening Drive. Our Lewis Automotive Opening Drive, keeping you in the know with things going around the state of Arkansas and high school athletics. And we start with a big time congratulations to Bentonville West girls soccer coach Carrie Castillo, named the Arkansas Coach of the Year by the United Soccer Coaches Organization for this past season after leading the team to a state championship game, a 15-4-4 record, and just an all-around successful season on the soccer pitch. I also enjoyed hosting our Kicking It with the Wolverines podcast with Coach Castillo every week throughout the soccer season as well. He was the 2022 United Soccer Coaches Regional Coach of the Year, as well as a National Coach of the Year finalist a few years ago when Bentonville West won that state championship. So congratulations to head coach Carrie Castillo. Coming up on Sunday, August 16th, an opportunity for you to sit down and watch a special documentary brought to you by Downtown Now called Because of the Tigers. It showcases that 2021 season and that run to that state championship game for the Bentonville Tigers. I had an opportunity to watch some of this. It is phenomenal, and you get to be a part of it too if you want to. Just go to becauseofthetigers.com. You can sign up there and reserve your tickets for the premiere as well as a community tailgate. I'll also have an opportunity to sit down with the director and one of the producers later this week to pick their brain about this project, why they wanted to make a documentary on that 2021 team, and what they hope the community of Bentonville gets out of it. So again, if you want to get your ticket to the premiere, just go to becauseofthetigers.com. That is Sunday, August 16th in Bentonville. And last but certainly not least, if you haven't known the news already, how about Bryant scheduling the national defending champions to come to War Memorial Stadium? St. Francis going to come to town on September 11th in the inaugural Patriots Bowl. It's a big time matchup that Quad Sanders is excited to continue to challenge his guys with this number one team coming over from Baltimore to play at War Memorial Stadium. So that one's going to be a phenomenal game. Of course, the Hornets coming off that 13-0 record a season ago. They've got a 26-game win streak going on, in fact, and of course, that 7A state championship. That is going to do it for your Lewis Automotive Opening Drive. Make sure to go and visit our friends at Lewis Automotive at one of their 3 locations in Fayetteville, Farmington, and Springdale. It was an exciting season last year for the Elks and head coach Zach Watson leading all the way to War Memorial Stadium and a 4A state championship game. Now, throughout the year, they did hit some adversity and had to go through some ups and downs, but it was really in that final stretch of the regular season into the playoffs where they really hit their stride. Now heading into 2026, they've got quarterback Austin Bourne back, who kind of backed up Ben Napier last year, but got into the state finals game last year and scored 3 touchdowns, was the game MVP. He's going to help lead this team that is really looking to fill in some gaps left by that senior class a year ago. But as I sat down with Coach Watson, he's excited for the potential that once again this Elks program has in front of them.
We head into 2026 feeling pretty good about how 2025 ended. So how do you take that momentum into a brand new year, but also remind your guys in the locker room, it's a new year, new team, and we haven't earned anything yet?
Right. No, it's kind of difficult to do that because they're riding the high.
Sure.
And, but obviously, we talked to them about, we'll wake up, come to work, and those guys are not going to be here, that we're on the 2025 team. And so we've got to create our own identity for ourselves. And, we've got to get back to work and trust our process that got us there last year. And so, and then those guys want to make plays. They want to be out on the field. And so they think it's their turn. And that's how they carried themselves into this off-season program and through the summer and now in the fall camp.
You get Austin Bourne back, and I know he backed up Ben Napier for most of the year, but he was able to kind of come back in and really obviously had a great state championship title game, being named the MVP. But what does his role look like now that he is the guy for you guys under center to start the year?
Yeah, it's way different. He got unfortunately for Ben, but fortunately for Austin, you know, Ben got banged up last year in the regular season for 2 games, and Austin got to start those 2 games against Prairie Grove. He went out and threw for, I think, 275. So his role that week was kind of the role that he has to take on now. Like, I'm the starter. I've got to prepare like the starter. And so it's going to change. And the leadership role. We knew we'd get Ben back later on in the year. And so, but Austin's now got to be that vocal leader, that a leader by example throughout the whole year and not just a couple weeks or into the playoffs. And his role was more of a runner, you know, in the playoffs. And this year he's got to be able to throw the ball. And he's proved that against that Prairie Grove team in that game late in the year last year. So we know that he can do it, but it does change, and mainly in the leadership aspect.
Yeah, how have you seen him grow in that way?
Yeah, I know having guys, we had a couple weeks off over the dead period. I think that he kind of orchestrated some, you know, throwing and catching routes with guys, you know, not on our campus, of course, because we can't be here, but other places. And then I gave him a week off last week, heading into fall camp. And so he organized some things that, you know, that we were going to do here and got that goal of guys that, you know, as coaches, we're not up here because we're still getting work in. So that's special.
Graduated a really special senior class. And we talked about those guys with chip on their shoulder and all the things were able to cut through the noise. But that also means you got a lot of holes to replace. So when you head into fall camp, where are you looking to see who can kind of step up into some empty spots?
Especially the D-line. Though that's a big spot. We lost 3 guys on the D-line. We lost a lot of our linebacking core. So that's a big area of maybe concern for the defense. But I think we've got a lot of guys with some experience. Fortunately, we won some games by quite a bit of their points the season, you know, and early in the season. So we got a lot of kids some playing time. So I think we've got some pieces in there. We had a very good junior high bunch. And I think some of those guys are going to be able to help us early. We're going to be young, and we've got to understand that we're going to take some lumps early, you know. But those guys have done a good job in the weight room, especially in the weight room. That's going to help them later on this fall.
What's your mentality this time of year? How excited are you to get it back?
Yeah, very excited. You know, and I think that's the fun part about coaching. You know, we lost a bunch, but how are we going to piece it together to try to be as successful as we were? And so that's the fun part of coaching, is finding those new guys, seeing those new guys emerge, because we have it every year. Last year, Hunter Smith, who was a defensive end for us, also backup running back, had a very big year, all conference, and named one of the best defensive linemen in our conference. And so to see a guy that hadn't been a normal starter step up like he did, I think we're going to see a lot of that this year with some different folks.
You look around your league and, you know, Prairie Grove, Bravit's going to be good. I mean, it's going to be competitive. And the 4A just might be one of the toughest classifications in Arkansas this year. I mean, when you look at that, what is it going to take for you guys to continue to build on the success that you had last year?
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, I played in 2A, but I've coached everything all the way up to 7A.
Yeah.
And 4A is just a gauntlet. There's a lot of great teams, a lot of great conferences. It's a long season, you know, and so you got to get lucky and stay healthy. But yeah, you know, going back to the drawing board, I think it's back to our process and our scheme. You know, yes, we try to add a little bit here and a little bit there, but I think it's getting back to our roots of you know, we're going to go and grind every day and try to stack days on days of you know, good football. And so I think it's getting back to that to keep us successful here going for it.
What do you ask of your players during fall camp? Because so much you grow physically and obviously learning new positions, but it's also a mental growth as well. And what do you want them to take out of it the most?
Yeah, being consistent. I think that's the big thing is we don't want to ride a roller coaster of where we had a great day and then we bottom out and have a really bad day. So stacking good days and being consistent and seeing the big picture, you know, and not me, like, why am I not getting to play? It might be because we've got a good guy in front of you, but it might be because we need you at corner, you know. And so, but there's a lot of that in the world, not just in football. It's a me mentality, and so to get guys to understand it's about the team and fit into where you go. Be the best version of yourself that day, and that's going to get you on the field. So
yeah. Well, I've looked at the schedule, and I know it comes week 2. Getting to play Dardanelle, who's moved up a classification, but obviously it's a rematch of last year. And I think a lot of people And especially fans are really looking to see what that Dardanelle rematch looks like for
Right.
you guys, right?
No doubt. Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. Coach Vega and I go way back. It's going to be new for kind of both teams. You know, he lost a lot as well. And he lost a offense coordinator and a defense coordinator. And so, you know, he's going to have to replace some guys on staff there. And so it should be a fun rematch. And, you know, it's two good teams. I know they'll be well coached. I know about our guys will be really prepared for that game, so it should be fun.
Yeah, well, people like me and the fans get to do that. We get to look at the schedule and circle them. You get to live day by day. It's a little bit of a different mentality. The message to the fans is you guys get excited for 2026.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it's just kind of what we've been doing. You know, it's just, yeah, early we're going to take some lumps, but I think we're going to be really good at the end of the year, as obviously if we can stay healthy, you know, and so, but early on, yeah, we're going to have some growing pains. And I think it's because we're going to play a lot of young guys. And I think this year more than, you know, maybe since I've been here, we're going to play a whole lot more kids. And we've got 5 receivers right now that I would feel comfortable going in tomorrow, and we only start 4, you know. And so we're going to rotate that. Same thing with some D-line guys and some O-line guys. So I think it's exciting that they know that there's going to be a lot of kids playing. It might be their kids, their cousin, you know, with their nephew, somebody like that playing, because we're going to have a lot of kids.
Well, you can feel it. Football's in the air and the season right around the corner. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
A big time thank you to Coach Watson for sitting down. And I tell you, I know that Elkins community is ready for football season to start. And speaking of community, whether you're buying your first home, selling your current one, or really just want to see what's on the market, give Mike Sims with Bassett Mix and Associates a call. Mike has been serving Northwest Arkansas for years and knows exactly how to find what you are looking for with a commitment to making that process simple and stress-free. As a proud supporter of Fayetteville High School, too, and the Purple Dogs, Mike believes strong communities start with great neighbors. When you're ready to make your next move, make it with someone who knows Northwest Arkansas. Reach out to Mike Sims with Bassett Mix and Associates today. And of course, the football season starting right around the corner in a few weeks, so a lot to look ahead to. And speaking of looking ahead, I got to join the team with the Coaches Pod to really break down each classification. It was a ton of fun, and we're going to be rolling out those episodes for you on our YouTube page over the next couple of weeks. To make sure to tune into those as we break down the 7A to the 2A and everything to look forward to with this upcoming football season. That is going to do it here for Varsity Vibe, brought to you by our friends at First Security Bank. Thank you so much for joining us. I always want to encourage you to follow along on our social media pages. That is Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Such great content for you. And it's going to continue to ramp up as the season starts for all of the sports here in the fall. Also want to encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. Just go to varsityvibearkansas.com, put in your email, and that's going to come to your inbox twice a week. It's a great way to stay in the know with everything that's happening with high school athletics around the state. And as always, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a minute of our coverage. Thank you again to our great sponsors who sponsor us here at Varsity Vibe. I could not do this without you. We couldn't do it without you. So a big time thank you to them. Once again, I'm your host, Alyssa Orange, and I'll see you next time.